Okay, hello Twitch fans, it's Captain Nabs here with you once again for another episode of my Trials and Tribulations in a Pilot's Life by Simbit World. The last episode was my first introduction to it, and I did manage to get sort of 2 flights done, although the second one did not go as planned. But that's part of the joy of aviation, that's part of, why we do what we do. So it was a little disappointing, but it was also at the same time kind of fun to try and figure out, come up with a resolution to the problem we were having. So yeah, I just wanted to continue this on right now. I'm just trying to set up my app here, and it's not really working for me here right now. I should have probably done this before I actually logged on to talk to you guys. Yeah, so today we're going to continue with another flight in the Encore-8. I still work for Encore in this. I haven't done anything else. I've just finished 2 flights. So I still work for Encore. Today we're going to be doing a new flight here. Here is my dashboard profile. I got a tiny bit of experience from my previous 2 flights and a couple of pilot hours, which means I'm going to make a little bit of money on my next paycheck. So, into my schedule. And the next thing we're doing here is we've done the turn here from Toronto to Montreal. And for some reason it's marked the same way twice. I'm not really sure why. But our next flight here is... Oh, no, it's not actually. It is marked correctly. Because the previous one we returned to Montreal due to technical issues. So the next one here we have is Toronto to Ottawa and then Ottawa back to Toronto. So that's what we're going to try and do today. We're going to try and hit up both legs. They're not long, particularly long flights, so we're going to try and hit them both up in one day. So let's go ahead and get this underway here. So we switch to our current flight. This is our current flight. Have to select our aircraft. I keep wanting to click there in the box, but really you just click on these black buttons down here. I like this software. It looks pretty slick, but the buttons could use a little bit of help. I think there could be a little bit of skinning that could work a little better, but overall it's pretty straightforward, pretty well laid out. And of course what we can always do is hit Sim Brief Dispatch. This is optional, but it's great because then it, first of all I have to log in. I'll do that on my other screen very quickly first, but then I'll show you that exactly after you've logged in, here's what it gives you. It gives you everything for your flight already filled in. So your flight number, your origin, destination, the type of aircraft, everything already filled in for you. So literally all you have to do is go down here. Actually, the one thing I do have to do is modify here the routing because that was a jet route. So monitor that, and that's pretty much it. There's the route it shows you. You can analyze it if you want, but it all looks good. And the only thing I've checked, of course, is the alternate weather. Destination weather is important, but the alternate weather is even more important because if you don't make it to your destination, you have to make it to an alternate. It looks like for the next several hours, Montreal is a fantastic alternate. So we're going to go ahead and generate that, move that back over here out of the way. But there you have it. So that's all there is to it to get started. It's nice that everything is populated for you. You really don't have to do too much at all in SimBrief to get started, which is great. So all I got to do in here now is click Start Flight and have a nice flight. And we are ready to get underway. So without further ado, let's go down that jet bridge, hop in our aircraft. It's a little bit rainy out here today in Toronto, so we're going to go ahead and get this plane fired up. It's a lot quieter in here as well than it is in the exterior view. I hope I didn't leave that standby battery on from last time. That's not going to be good if the standby battery's discharged. Let's see here, any unusual failure messages? No, nothing unusual. That's all pretty normal for startup. And the external power switch.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome on board our
Turn it on. We're not going to see any reaction. The big reaction is that if you see these 2 lights come on, that's a good indication that your external power is on. If you don't have external power on, if you're just running on just batteries alone, they should not illuminate at all. So without seeing the screen, oh, and there it is now, the screen's up. It's down there, green external power on message. Perfect. Just warm up all the screens. Make sure everything's coming on. There we go. The FMSs are warming up. Alright, so today's a pretty straightforward flight. Like I said, Toronto to Ottawa and back. I'll try and do the whole turn. They're relatively short flights, so it shouldn't take too long to get these turns done. Just going to wait for this FMS to boot up, and we'll pop our route in there really quickly. It's not a long, complicated route. It really isn't. And while we're waiting for the FMSs, we'll go ahead and tell GSX to start doing some catering, some refueling, and go ahead and start boarding. And of course, the one thing you want to make sure of in any boarding scenario is that the emergency lights are armed. They are armed. Perfect. All right. So we're going to go ahead and bring this up. I'm just going to check this on my screen here. Yeah, you guys can see that fully. I can even move that up a little bit. I don't know if it's quite so low. There we go. I hope that's not too loud for you guys. It sounds like it's really loud. So I'm going to go ahead and knock that background noise down a little bit for you guys. And hopefully don't hear it too much through my speakers as well. I'm going to also kill my speakers a little bit there as well. Alright, so quickly, flight plan. Still got the old flight plan stuck in here. And after a power reset, this should not be the case. But pop in your origin, your destination, and then flight plan menu. First we'll do the departure, and just going to grab the weather from my vPilot here, and actually I'm just realizing one minor thing we have to fix here. There. Tweak my flight plan ever so slightly. And alright, so the wind's in Toronto 180 at 9, so favoring more 2324 right. Because there's no ATC online, we're going to do 23. It's going to be a little of a faster taxi for you guys today. Get this flight underway. So Beaumet 7 off runway 23 is probably going to be missing a few waypoints. But we can go back to the flight plan page and see it there. May even get tail up Beaumet, and there should be some waypoints after Beaumet. Again, this comes down to kind of a North American way of filing SIDs, where you can have multiple transitions on a SID, and certain software does not deal well with it. The real aircraft does, however, the way that the... Oh, gotta open exit 4 for my catering, most likely. Let's see here. Services. Exits. Beaumet 7. Off of 23 and 24, that's the one. Yeah, the way certain software is programmed, it uses the European model where there can only be one transition out of a SID, and then when you end up with North American models, then with North Americans using it with North American routes, there's problems. Some of the ATC software has this problem, and some of the aircraft have this problem. Alright, so after Beaumet, it should be... let's see here. What is the route here? Sorry. I believe I have this wrong here. So we're just going to modify that. Oop, that should be capital 5. There we go. That's why I can't seem to find it. So I'm looking at my charts here on the screen really quickly, and if you've got your Navigraph, you can follow along with me. I'm just doing it on my tablet because it's easier for me to do that and look at it while I'm doing this. But there is, my VOC is the one intersection that's missing, and then we can go ahead and do flight plan menu arrive and hit up the arrival into Ottawa. Let's see here. My SimBrief flight plan today is estimating that we are going to be landing on, where is it? 07 in Ottawa, straight into 07. So we'll put that in for now and we'll see what happens. Via the capital 5, and then we're going to go ahead and do the MyVOC transition. That's the one we are looking for. We'll do the ILS to 05. We won't have a transition. Oops. Now there shouldn't be a no link here, so let's bring up that second MyVOC. In fact, why don't we just bring it up here? Then we go Canuck, Lanark, Visol, and from Visol we start the approach, so we'll just delete that one as well, because you can see it's a double fix on the approach. So there you go, Visol, start the ILS at Visol. That looks good. The no links associated with the missed approach and the go around waypoint. That's fine. Waiting for my actions to close exit 4. Close that exit door, and the catering truck will leave. Jet aviation, huh? Okay. That's an odd one to use, Pearson, but okay. Let's see here. Where was I? Okay, so we finished the route. The only thing we need to do now is pop in the fuel situation and our ETA local time. We have a 4-hour offset, so that's just your time zone, just so you get an accurate local time. It knows UTC, it doesn't know what time zone you're in. Quickly hit up my flight plan again for my fuel numbers here. So my alternate fuel, and I just realized what I've done here is I have left it in kilograms, and I work in pounds because I'm a North American. I'm not a very good Canadian sometimes, but in aviation in general, in North America, things are done in pounds, unless you have an aircraft that specifically doesn't allow it. Certain Canadian airlines have switched more to kilograms than pounds, but still, usually the Dash 8 is done in pounds. If you're North American anyway, so let me really quickly switch up my flight plan and into pounds. That's better. Alright, so our alternate fuel today is going to be 1,000 pounds. And I have to open exit 2. Give me 1 second. 1,000 pounds. Let's see here. The final reserve fuel, 1403. You'll notice it's always very consistent because it's always 45 minutes based on the planned weight, give or take. I have to put 0 in there for that to calculate, I guess. There we go, total reserves. And has the fuel truck even shown up yet? Alright, let's kill this, and let's go ahead and open exit 2. Because they'll want to board, I guess. Or maybe it's the baggage, I'm not sure. Either way. For some reason, GSX always wants to board our aircraft through the aft door as well. It always puts stairs there, but I think it was the cargo door I was waiting for. I don't know where the fuel truck is. I don't see it anywhere. Hopefully it's coming soon. Because the boarding, I think, is complete. We just need to get the aircraft prep for departure. So the FMS is basically done. The only thing I really need to do is I need to make sure that I do cross-fill, flight plan, menu, cross-fill, flight plan, and the fuel. And actually, I don't know what the fuel is going to be at, but what I will do is I will take a quick glance at what we're blocking, which we're blocking 51. So let's go ahead and, before I cross-fill fuel, let's put down 5,100 pounds here. We're blocking a bit of extra today. It's a rainy day in Toronto at the very least. We'll cross-fill fuel for now. We're going to have to get a hold of our ZFW as well in a little bit. Alright, so batteries are on, generators on, electrical panel all looks good, the ice protection panel looks good, let's see, windshield looks good. Voice Unicom. Did you guys hear that? That's my first encounter with it. Voice Unicom. Oh my gosh, isn't that fantastic? Something we've been waiting so long for. For those of you that are not aware, I am flying this flight on the VATSIM network, as I always do, and audio for VATSIM has been finally released. I don't need this overhead lighting today. Kill all of that. Don't need the dome light either. It is fantastic. For those of you that have not gotten on the network and tried it out yet, for the love of God, get on there and try it out. It is unbelievable. It is such a change from what we were doing before. The audio quality is unbelievable. I mean, it's totally understandable in this day and age, and it's a shame that we were cursed to such a low level of audio quality before. It really is. But it's just such a complete and total change. So if you've ever stepped away from the VATSIM network, if you're a viewer that stepped away from VATSIM because you said, I just can't stand the quality of that network, Try it now. Go on there, download the latest copies of the pilot clients. You may or may not need software upgrades, but boy, try it out now. The other thing too is that if you like to fly with other people around, get online, because this has caused a huge boost in network traffic on VATSIM. The day it was released, which was only 2 days ago, as I'm flying this, they broke the non-cross-the-pond traffic record on the network. There were over 1,100 simultaneous connections. And then the next day, again, 1,100 simultaneous connections to the network at one point in the day, which for a non-event day, for just a typical weekday afternoon, I guess it's evening in Europe, but afternoon in North America, and normally you see 700 people, 800 people online at that point in time. 1,100 people. I've flown around a bit already, and the thing that's really noticeable is that there's people everywhere, and especially if you get on in the North American evening time. Holy moly, literally, there are people everywhere. Like, every sector I flew through had busy ATC. They were constantly working, they were working hard, and it was great to see, and I love it, and I hope it continues. I hope this trend continues. I think it'll probably peter out a little bit as people get used to having it online and they sort of flip back, but it's a new toy for everybody, and everybody's going crazy trying it out. So if you've ever been afraid of the VATSIM network, or if you've ever left it because you were upset with the quality before, get back online now. It is very different than it was before, and one of those nice features is that every audio channel is open all the time. So I am tuned into Unicom, and I can hear people making calls on final. They don't have to type it in on text anymore. If you're on the Unicom frequency, you can just simply speak it out. Press your push to talk, speak out, and get yourself heard on the radio. Alright, I'm just going to go step outside one more time and check and just see, is my fuel truck coming, or do I just have to give up? Refueling service requested. Okay, no, the refueling service is requested. Alright. So we're going to quickly go in the Majestic control panel here. Looks like we got about 4,000 pounds of fuel right now. We're going to need another 1,000, but what I want to do is I want to make sure that I've set this up correctly to match my load as planned by SimBrief, which is 74 people. Of course it is. And so we'll put 100 pounds in the forward. 74 people is going to need me to bump this up a fair bit here. So we're going to need to bump some people. 18, 16. Calculate. Okay, perfect. Still within the limits. Perfect. And I'm going to send that data to FlightSim. And we're going to go ahead and put in that ZFW number, which I've already forgotten what it was. It's 55,573. Waiting for me to close exit 1. I cannot close exit 1 if you want to fuel this airplane. Alright, so that puts us... Did I put the fasten seatbelts? No. Passengers on board. Fasten seatbelt sign off. So does this mean the fuel truck is here? Because it says refueling. The passengers on board, but I still don't see the fuel truck. Where the heck is the fuel truck? Did he show up on the wrong side or something? Refueling is still showing. Fuel truck is on its way. So everything else got done first. Everything else got priority, which is annoying sometimes because then it can cause a large delay. But anyways, we're not there yet, so... Let's go with our planned takeoff weight. We're looking at a planned takeoff weight of 59.5, which we always just round up to the next number, so we're going to use the 60,000 numbers. We're going to make this pretty easy. We're going to make it a flap 5 takeoff because it's a nice long runway here. Can't close the door because we haven't fueled yet. So we're looking at 131, 131, 131, 140, and 151. Alright, we got then we got that. So we got the altimeter set, we got the MDA set, we got our altitude cell set, and gotta press our go around button. I really need to set a button for this. Go around, heading, alt cell, and yaw damper on. There we go, and just a quick little control check just to make sure that I do have these configured correctly. These appear to be configured correctly. That is configured correctly. Okay, good. Alright, that's all in there. I set up the altimeter there. Green, 15 for the return. Yes, we are going to shut it eventually, but we got to get everything else done first. FMS is basically down. We're just waiting to see our fuel reach its total. Tank ox pumps, auto feather, propeller feather, manual feather. Yep. That all seems to be working properly. Everything looks like it's in the right place. The only thing I notice here is the takeoff trim is way out of limits here. So we'll quickly just move that down. You're going to get the takeoff alarm because we're holding the trim switch for too long. There we go. And then waiting for my action to close exit 1. Hopefully the fuel truck is almost here. I don't know where this fuel truck is driving from. I think it's driving from Saudi Arabia, or maybe Houston, I don't know. Because, oh, here it comes. I see it there. I mean, that's the way it is sometimes in real life. You're waiting for things to happen, but... anyways, we got everything set up. A quick little departure briefing for us here today. If you'll give me 1 second and indulge me here, I'll see if I can pull up my Navigraph Charts just to show you, because I recently switched to using Navigraph Charts, and wow, I have to say wow, it's such a great piece of software for a whole bunch of reasons. This should have already been signed in, but I find sometimes it logs out at odd times when you think it's already signed in. Oh, for crying out loud, restart now to make it yours. I'm going to restart it later because I want to show you guys this. Maybe not. Give me a second, guys. Not sure why it's not letting me sign in. Alright, it's being a pain in the rear, so I may have to just do this briefing without you guys being able to. Yeah, because now it wants me to restart. Honestly. Alright, we need 5,100 pounds. We'll go with the 5,800 pounds. Let's try it one more time. I'm just going to try to run Navigraph one more time as this fueler's refueling here. Hopefully the login works this time. I don't know why it's not. Sorry, guys. Nope. Navigraph's not going to sign in for me. But the other nice thing, and I do like about Navigraph, is that it's very consistent again across all its platforms. So if I pull it up on my browser, even, it looks almost exactly the same as the application, which is something that's really good. And it works on mobile platforms, it works on your tablet, it works on everything. There we go, we got it to work here. So if you guys have never used Navigraph Charts, it's a really fantastic piece of software. It's very, very useful. Lots of great things, like for example the fact that I do have my airplane icon here, which is connected to my sim. So wherever I am in the world, I can keep track of it. And the nice thing is, if I step away from my computer for a length of time, it will continue to track it. I can use my mobile device, or my iPad, or anything to check out where my airplane is at any point in time. So we're doing CYYZ, so let's open the charts list. Very straightforward, and you can pin various charts, which is also great. So we're going to go ahead and pin the airport info, which has got all the taxi routes on it. And we'll pin our SID, which is the Beaumet 7, which is already down here, because I pinned it because I was looking at it earlier to figure out what's going on. So, quick departure briefing. We're here parked at the gate Alpha 2, I believe it is. We're going to most likely go out Alpha Tango here, and northbound on Alpha Hotel to get to runway 23 for departure today. No hotspots really along that route. Just don't go on to Quebec without being told so. That's the hotspot number 3 there. And then the departure, the Beaumet 7 departure off runway 23, it is down here at the bottom of the other sign by TC. Climb heading 237 to 1100 feet and climb right turn heading 245 as a sign. Expect radar vectors to Maven as a sign. And proceed via the depicted route unless otherwise signed by TC. Maintain 3,000. So let's make sure we got 3,000 in there. Oh, I set 5,000 because I'm thinking like a jet pilot now. I mostly fly jets these days. The Dash is not something I fly every day anymore, so I don't think about it as much. And the heading is completely wrong. We'll swing that right around to 237. It's going to be a left turn onto the runway for us, so we turn the heading bug to the left. There we go. And where did my Navigraph charts go? Stand by. They're there. Yeah, and then after Maven, let's pull up. Give me 1 second here. Let's pull up the flight plan, and let's just double confirm that this is all correct here. So after Maven and GAGPO, the trouble is my charts are going to disappear. So we do have Maven, GAGPO, then we have DASI, TSUC, Talib, Bomet, and we did put in MyVOC for the transition to Ottawa. And that's basically it for our departure briefing. Speeds are already in, and the flap retraction altitude 1600. I'm not going to do the whole emergency briefing for you guys today. All right. So it looks like the fueling did not work. GSX's fueling did not work, and the fuel truck left. So we are just going to have to quickly do this here. We wanted 5,100 pounds in there. Calculate, send it to the sim, and done. And we are now ready to leave. I did put 5,100 on there already, so that matches perfect. Okay, and I think we're just about ready to go here. I'm just going to cross-fill this fuel one last time so it has the accurate numbers. And we'll go ahead and start doing our checklists and closing off those doors. And we're also going to make sure those gear pins are not installed. It says install, so that's good. So we're going to go ahead and start closing the doors at the back. And we're going to go ahead and run our checklist. If I can find my checklist. Where is it? There it is. All right. Let's see here. So we'll start with the originating before start checklist. Let me unpause my track IR. I know it's a little bit jumpy sometimes, guys, but I appreciate your patience with it because it does make flying a lot easier on me here. So, starting with external power APU is on, or external power is on. Recirc fan is on. Emergency lights are armed. Anti-skid is on. External check is complete. Gear pins are stowed. We just double check that. And we should probably move that bridge away before we try to close that door. It'll close right through the bridge. And then there goes the bridge. Good, we can close the door. Where was I? External checks are complete. Gear pins are stowed. Alt gear door and landing gear inhibit switch is closed and norm. JEP FD updates and flight deck preparation. So it's all complete. Originating before start checks complete and the before start check. So we're going to do circuit breakers. Let's see here. Circuit breakers in this aircraft are checked on the left, and the FO would look over his shoulder and check on the right. Escape hatch is closed. Battery master main and pipes on.
Express 219er, push and start and taxi to runway 24 right.
Seatbelts are on. Fueling is done. Flight taxi is taxi. Yeah, dampers on. Fuel quantity is 5,100 pounds, which checks. Emergency brake pressure is on and check. Power levers are dis. Condition levers are fuel off. And the takeoff briefing is complete. The before start check is complete. And we're going to go ahead and tell GSX we are ready for pushback. And again, I'm going to use the QuickEdit Pushback just to make sure I get it where I want it here. So I'm going to want to push back over here. If I can click it, come on. There we go. And then we're going to want it facing. Come on, come around. It's constantly doing a recalculation, so sometimes it's a little slow to do anything here, but because it's constantly recalculating that route every time you click the mouse, so and then it cancels as soon as you click it again. That's a weird pushback route, so let's just do this and see if I can make one that's more direct. There we go. I like that. Okay, that's perfect. All right, accept, and we'll just say no because it never seems to work when we do yes. It's more designed for a jet than a Dash 8. All right, so here he comes. We're going to go ahead and do, going to make sure I'm on COM 1 here. I'm going to take a quick look behind me as well, make sure that this guy who's pushing back is not pushing back behind us. No, I don't see him. All right, and
Hello, Captain. We're ready for pushback.
Thank you. And Toronto traffic, Encore. It's Encore 3462 at Gate Alpha 2 in Terminal 3, push and start for departure. Weird to do that. I've never done that before. It's so weird. I like it, but it's so weird. Okay, start a proof check. Nose steering is off. Transponder is going to on alt. Doors and fueling lights are out. APU bleed is off. And the anti-collision's going to red. Start approved check. Oops. Start approved check is complete. And we're going to ask clear on 2. As far as I can see, it's out there. It's clear on 2. We'll go ahead and start engine 2. And away we go. Waiting for me to remove the GPU. Let me just get that engine started, and we will take that GPU off, sir. I should do it when he starts with the APU, but it's so much more efficient for this airplane if you don't have to start it with the APU. It saves so many cycles on the APU if you just start with ground power. Since you're going to have ground power usually connected to the gate anyways. Saves so much. Alright, and that will probably be engine adapter heat. It is. What's the temperature here in Toronto today? 11 degrees. Good, we don't need anti-ice on the ground at least. Alright, and so we got a normal start on engine 1. Let's go ahead and turn off the external power. Just verify that the generator, the yellow light disappeared. The generator did come online. External power's gone. Generator's holding the load. Alright, I'm going to just leave this on the nav page here. And I'm going to use the secondary one here for GPU request cancel. Alright, you are good to remove the GPU. Shift my seat a little bit. Every time I shift my seat even slightly, I have to reset my view here. There it is, it's gone. Alright, you guys ready?
Locking gear.
There are some nice views here. Let's see if we can get one of these nice...
Departure check completed. Bypass pin inserted. Release sparking brakes. Commencing push. All
I can use my rudder pedals to secretly release the parking brake. And away he goes. This is kind of a neat view, I gotta say. I'm enjoying kind of watching from here. I should be starting that first engine. Alright, let's go back inside. Alright, we'll say clear on 1. That guy's over there. Nobody's near the prop. Alright, clear on 1. Starting engine 1. Oh, that's the button to press. Bring up the prop. And I should watch the start. I'm going to hope it goes according to plan because I want to have a little bit of fun here. So back to my and here we are pushing back the Dash 8 from the first person view. Some of these views are really kind of fun, I gotta say. It's a pity that they're not movable, that they are totally fixed. Oh no, wait, I can move it a little bit here. Oh, there we go. That looks a little better. That is a pretty nifty little view here. Or you can switch it to, I think I do like it a little bit better right there, where you see the pushback driver as well. But they're both neat views, and you can sort of scroll it over a little bit if you want to, just to sort of get a better perspective on everything. Wow, that was a pretty sudden stop there.
Set parking brakes.
Alright, and we'll set the parking brake for this guy. And that was just engine adapter heat 1 associated with the start, and this looks like we did have a normal start. All the engine parameters look pretty nice here, so we're doing pretty good. Voice Unicom. Oh, this is amazing. Not having to read the vPilot window anymore, or type in the vPilot window anymore, especially if you're streaming. Like it's distracting, and then especially if you lose your audio when you switch to the vPilot window.
Toronto traffic, Collision Express 219er, taxiing to runway 24 right, Alpha Kilo, Bravo Charlie.
Alpha Kilo, Bravo Charlie. You should pop out over there in a second there. Alright. And you guys are all good? Come on, turn around. Give me the okay to unfeather the prop. Or did he say we're good? Yep. Alright, so we'll say he said okay to...
Left is clear.
Yeah, left is clear, right is clear. Thank you. Wave. See ya. Unfeather the props. Wait for them to come up. One of the problems with the Majestic that I've
Clear to start engines.
said again and again is that the AC gens don't come online till the prop RPM hits about 550-ish. That's when you know you're good to do your after start flow, when you see those props, those generators come online. Anyways, let's see here. How will I remember all of this? Because geez, I still feel like I don't fly this airplane very much. All right, and then we got to do the FO stuff here, which is air conditioning, set the flaps, control lock off. Auto feather. One of these days I'll do some single engine taxiing. I'll have to really review it and practice a little bit before I do it because it's a little different. Alright, and so quickly we'll do the control check down here. So we do elevators first. Then we'll do ailerons, which only we'll see the spoilers and the rudder. Alright, and if we kill that, that'll drop that down. Once the test is done, we can turn on the nose wheel steering and do the checklist. Alright, after start checklist, so start select light is out, external power APU both off, bleed air is min and on, ice protection is standard plus the windshield right now. Actually, we'll just do props and windshield because it's going to be below 10 degrees pretty quickly. Caution and warning lights check. Battery temps and loads are looking good. Checked. Tank aux pumps 1 and 2 are on. Auto feathers AS select engine rating is NTOP 90%. Standby high press P2 controller on. High press and quantity are all checked. That one is always supposed to be 0 when you're not using it. High 3 and elevators are checked. Flight controls checked and free, and the de-ice pressure on the FO side over here checks. Flap I got 5 set and indicating condition levers are max. Nose steering is now on. Radar navcom is all set, and PFTM DED is all checked, no flags. After our checklist is complete. Alright, I don't know where this guy... Oh, there's the Canadian Express, I think. Maybe that's not him. Alright, and away we go. Taxi light on. This rain is really playing hell with my frame rate too. Not the landing light, just the taxi light. Toronto traffic, Encore 3462 is taxiing for departure runway 23. We'll be out Alpha Juliet Alpha Hotel.
Hey, Rob.
Salut.
Ça va?
Ah, bien, et toi?
Yes. Tu fais-tu coupe de vol, plusieurs vols dans Montréal ou juste celui-là?
Ottawa aujourd'hui.
Toronto traffic, Express 112 heavy, will taxi 24 right via Delta Papa, Delta.
Wow, it's so nice to have Voice Unicom. What a crazy difference. I wouldn't have thought, but this is really quite game changing. I hate to use that term, but wow, it's so different from what we were doing before.
Toronto traffic, Express 219 line up and taking off 24 right.
It's just so nice and different. The ability to communicate with your pilots without having to look away from what you're doing, and that's probably the biggest thing. It was always we were looking away, typing in the vPilot window or whatever your client was, reading in there, and it took away from the immersion, if you will. Now you can just press your push to talk while you're on final. Wow, this rain is just absolutely killing my frame rate here. It's like a slideshow out here right now. It's possible I may have too many things running on my computer as well, but I'm going to blame the rain. Alright, quick taxi check. Taxi light is on. The altimeters, we got 2955 set 3 times. Takeoff warn is down here. Checked, and we'll say the cabin secure. Oop, see, even that you just look. And that's one that you can normally do in the airplane by feel. In the real airplane, it's the last bottom left switch there, so you can sort of feel for your 4 switches and then just trigger just the last switch. And so you don't usually have to worry too much about looking at it. Wow, this rain, I'm pretty sure it's the rain because I don't normally get a frame rate this low in Toronto. I don't even have dynamic lighting right now because it's daytime. It's got to be mostly the rain that is just killing this right now. I really might need to upgrade my CPU very soon. Nice thing is, again, flying the Dash 8, don't touch the brakes. Use the disking props to your advantage to slow down as much as possible. Use the brakes if you absolutely have to. Don't hit anything, but if you plan ahead and plan well, you will need very little braking action in a Dash 8. Alright, let's I haven't heard anybody. I'm just going to have a quick glance at my VATSPy window just to make sure nobody's on final here. I see a bunch of... Wow, I see 6 airplanes logged into Toronto departing. But nobody on final by the looks of VATSPy, which is good. Okay, great. Back to... Alright, so line up. Lineup check. Alright, the cabin crew, please be seated for takeoff. FA notification is PA transponder is on... Oh, somehow I turned it to standby. I thought I had it on alt. There it is, on alt. And TCAS is TA only. MFDs are currently both terrain. Bleed air is min and staying on. And flight taxi is going to flight. Oh. Lineup check complete. As we approach the runway, we're going to go ahead and go over to strobe on. Toronto traffic, Encore 3462 is taking runway 23 for departure, left turn out on the Beaumet 7 departure.
Toronto traffic, Canadian Express 219er, airborne, GSX QuickEdit on course.
Very good. And so he's airborne. Fantastic. The only trouble with this, of course, voice Unicom is that if somebody is text only, they will not be able to interact with people who are voice only, but it's a bit of a difficulty. Alright, let's do this. Takeoff, check power. Pop this up because it makes my life easier. Wow. What is with my frame rate today? It's got to be all that rain. There's 100 knots. There's V1 and then it just wants to rotate itself. Positive rate, gear up. Smoother than last time. Mostly maintaining runway heading here. And that's we're supposed to be in the turn to 245, aren't we? Alright, and there's 1600, so flap 0. Bleeds on. Climb power set. That's 1,000 to go. 2300 climbing 3,000. There's the alt star. We'll go ahead and set 6,000 now. That should be set 7,000 for the initial climb out here. And as we're through 3,000, we're going to go ahead and set 180 on the heading. Just check for anybody on the TCAS here as well. Don't see anybody. We're going to go ahead and switch all the way around to the 150 heading. And we're going to go ahead and pitch down for a higher rate of, for a higher speed climb here. All right, I see lots of clouds out. We do have props and windshield heater on.
Toronto traffic, Express 112 heavy taking off from 24 right at Q4 departure. Ottawa transit.
Toronto traffic, Encore 3462 is climbing through 4800, currently climbing for 7,000 in a left turn direct to Maven. Alright, so let's do a DTO to Maven. And then let's go ahead and engage LNAV. There we go. Alt star for 7,000 already. Oh, 6,000 we actually set, so let's go ahead and set 7,000. I thought we set 7,000. And let's go ahead and climb to our cruise altitude, which I've already forgotten what it is. It's probably 210, maybe 230. So we'll say 210. Gosh, this thing is finicky sometimes. There it is, 210. Alright, and let's quickly do an after takeoff checklist. So first we do our flow. Turn off 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 switches. And then our after takeoff checklist says landing gear is up, flap 0, climb power is set, bleed air 1 and 2 is norm and on, auto feather is off, tank ox pumps are off, high pumps are normal, engine temps and pressures are all normal, ice protection is as required. Cab press and temp controls. Looks like we are getting a differential. The cab climb.
112 heavy passing 2,000 for 370 on the departure.
And FA notification is chime after takeoff checklist is complete. Fortunately, I can't see anybody today because of all the clouds. It's a rainy day in Toronto. My frame rate did pick up when we got airborne, but it's really bad today for some reason. I'm not sure why. What it is that's stealing all the resources. Maybe I'll shut down my Navigraph charts. I wonder, because sometimes Chrome uses an amazing amount of resources when it's running. Shut down some of those browser windows. Yeah, that popped it up a little bit. Yeah, that popped it up a little bit. It's amazing how much those use. Okay, we're through 10,000. Lights off. And let's see here. Pressurization. Again, looking for 424, 4, 2, and about 4. Yep, 400 feet per minute. Yeah, that looks good. And seatbelt sign. We're going to leave the seatbelts on because it's a bit of a cloudy looking day out here, so I don't know. But we'll get ourselves underway. We'll pitch down. We'll climb a little bit more. Did I finish the after takeoff checklist? Yes, I did. Yep. Sync our heading bug just in case we ever lose our nav. And that's it. We're on our way to Ottawa. Enjoying the joys of Voice Unicom. Here I am sitting here. It's a morning. It's a weekday morning. And I've got 6 departures behind me out of Toronto here on the VATSIM network, which is just, again, it's a testament for anybody who has not yet tried audio for VATSIM. Get out there, try it out, because it is just fantastic. It is, the voice quality is amazing. There's no lag anymore, which I know a lot of people had issues with it. That caused a lot of problems over the years. It did. It absolutely did. The lag caused lots of problems, but they're not there anymore. The lag is not there. It's great now. So now we're just climbing out on our way to Ottawa. The lag is not there, and the fact that you can talk on any channel. So if you have a company channel, you could even establish a company frequency and talk on that. The future is not to only have one universal Unicom frequency, but to use the correct frequency for the area that you're in. So, and this works especially well at towered airports. So, Toronto would probably have a mandatory frequency of 118.7, which is the normal tower frequency. And the beauty of that is that if tower logs on, everyone's already on the frequency talking. Tower just comes on and says, hey, we're open. identify yourselves and take it from there. You don't have to, you know, look for a chat window or whatever. You send out a lot of contact me requests. If everybody's on the correct Unicom frequency for their airport, they'll be aware when a controller logs on quite well. That's going to be also a really nifty a change that will come. Alright, we're slowly getting out the top of this cloud layer here. Ice detected though. Yep, top of clouds detected. Alright, so first of all, speed checks. I don't even see the red tape on there, so I can turn the increase rep on without limits. And there we go. Ice protection is all on. And that's it. We are on our way to Ottawa. Just going to take that out for a second and pause it there. See who else. I'm just having a look at the VATSIM window, or the VATSPY window, to see who else is taking off behind me. It's a little parade of people getting out of Toronto, that's for sure. But how wonderful is this, having this ability to listen to the other people on your on Unicom? Like, it's just so different, and you can hear the voice clarity here through this broadcast as well. You can hear the clarity of the Unicom transmissions, which is fantastic. There we go. I think we're just about coming out the top of the flight, the cloud deck at last. And carrying on. Now my frame rate's a little higher, but even for cruise, this is quite a low frame rate. Something's not right. Something has got to be burning up a process on my computer. It's not my streaming, I don't think, because that's got a status update. It's only burning 2.5% of my computer here. So let's just have a quick little look-see. Just going to do this for 1 second. We're going to pull myself up here and just see if I can figure out what, there we go, is killing this here. I don't see anything unusual running on here right now that should be really causing any major issues. There's a lot of things running, but most of them are just simply background tracker processes. The only two things that are using any substantial amount, actually the one thing I notice on here now, is that vPilot is using 2.5% of my resources, which is not crazy. I think that's more than it was before. I don't recall, to be honest. I never really noticed. Just going to try something here as well. And that is 200 climbing 210. Did that boost the frame rate? That boosted the frame rate a little bit there, I think. One thing that is interesting about P3D is that even though it's supposed to run on all the processors, it oftentimes tends to gravitate towards, or all the cores at the same time, it tends to gravitate towards one core, one or two cores, and leaves the rest of the cores sort of hanging there, underutilized. And there's little tweaks to try and force it to reevaluate which core it's using. So that's what I did. It seemed to boost the frame rate a little bit there. Took it up by almost 50%. Could be also where we're leveling off at. If we're getting away from the rain, it's not drawing the rain underneath us. That could be doing it too. The trouble with flight simming is that there's so much stuff running on your computer sometimes that it's hard to track exactly what you're doing. So it seems like everyone else is taking off for other places. St. John's, Vancouver, Miami. We're the only ones going to Ottawa today. That's fine. Actually, we're not the only ones. There is another flight inbound to Ottawa, but he's a lot farther out than we are. Looks like he's coming from the west somewhere. Anyways, we're leveled off in cruise here. Was it 210 was the planned cruise? Or 230? I had planned even lower than that. We'll go with 210 because it's pretty good in the fuel burn. The one thing I think we did miss, actually, didn't we? We missed transition. Ugh, amateur. I'm going to have to do this in order to pull this. There we go. Unfortunately, that... There we go. Standard, standard. Now it's going to have to get back there. That's actually a little helper because it gives us a little boost on the speed and we can get back to the cruise check sooner. I'm going to say that the boots look clean, the wing looks clean out there. We can probably take off the ice protection. And the increase ref, we can probably even take off the prop heat as well. We're well above the cloud deck. Oh, ice detected. How are you detecting ice? Very well. We'll put it all back on again. I don't know where you're detecting this ice from. Anyways, carrying on to Ottawa. Should have traffic passing off behind us there, 600 feet above. He's going to be about 20 miles away as he passes us, so chances are pretty good we won't spot him in the sim, unfortunately. Alright, resync my heading bug, and already we're going to start thinking about Ottawa because it doesn't take long to get there. That's the nice thing about Ottawa. It's a very short run in this airplane. Okay, we're going to do a cruise check. So condition levers back to 850. Alright, and the cruise check. So we already fixed this, but altimeter is 2992 inches are set and cross-checked. Power is set. Fuel is, let's double check our fuel here. So we go to our performance page, showing 3,200 pounds over Ottawa, and we needed, I think, 2,000 to divert to Montreal, so we're good there. Lots of extra fuel. Seatbelts, yeah, we can take them off now. We're above the cloud deck. It looks pretty smooth up here. No turbulence that I can see or detect. Lights are all as required, just these three. Actually, we don't even need the local light. We can kill the local light. Cabin press is checked. It's in the green. And you can even recheck it here against the table. So at 21, we should be at about 55-ish, which we are. Pretty good. And ice protection is as required. 24-hour ice test. We should probably do 24-hour ice test. So we could pretty much say the 24-hour ice test is done at this point. We've seen the prop heat go, and I've seen that light on. I've seen that light on. The one thing I haven't watched closely is I haven't watched the boots closely to make sure that they are working properly. But the windshield heat has been on for all this length of time without triggering any kind of a fault or a caution light. And the increased ref switch also works. So I'm going to take that off now. Here goes the boots. And normally, what you do is you start the timer, if I can get my finger on that bloody button, because it should be 6 seconds at each segment, and 36 seconds in total, and then a 24-second dwell time. And then 6. So normally you'd kind of time it on here on the timer when you see it start. Make sure that they are roughly 6 seconds, give or take about a second each. The cycles through all the different ones. And then you'd leave it on for an additional 24 seconds. So in this case, I was about 6 seconds late getting it on. So at about 54, it should probably go off again. All right, about 4 seconds. 2, 3, 4, and any second now. There it is. That's pretty good. Alright, so we'll turn that off. And we'll start thinking about our arrival into Ottawa. Grabs myself a METAR through vPilot. It is raining in Ottawa as well. Kill the frame rate again. 2968 on the altimeter. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and put 2968 on the altimeter. On the standby there. Now the one thing, there, that finished, that cycle finished. Scattered 5500 though, we should break out in plenty of time to see the field. And the wind 0708, yeah, straight down the pipe for the ILS 07. So we're going to continue with the plan for the ILS 07. The only thing I have to finish on this ice protection test is I am supposed to do a manual test of the airframe selections as well. So I'm supposed to go here. Now, you don't have to be in manual mode to do it in the real airplane, but I think Majestic wants you to do it that way. in theory, you're not supposed to be able to do it in off mode. But all manual mode does in the airplane is turns on the heaters in all of the different valves that control the icing system. That's all manual does, is turn on those heaters manually to make sure that they don't freeze if there's any moisture in the air in the system. Even with this in the off position, you are supposed to be able to cycle through all these boots. Majestic has modeled it the way I think Bombardier originally kind of tried to have it, but not the way it actually works in the real world. Lots of little quirks with this airplane where I think they mostly worked on the documentation, which I'm not trying to fault them for it because that's probably the best way to go. But there are little quirks in the real world that have not crept into the airplane. So, anywho, we're going to set up the ILS to runway 07 in Ottawa. So I'm going to pull out my Navigraph charts again here and hope it doesn't kill my frame rate again. So now we're going to skip ahead to Ottawa here, open our charts list, and select our approaches. So I can also ditch these two charts from my little tag bar there because I don't need them anymore, and instead we're going to tag up the arrival, the ILS to runway 07, and the taxi chart for Ottawa. So that we can very quickly scroll between those three charts. Perfect. Alright, so here's the Capital 7 arrival. What I was actually really looking for, first of all, was the ILS. So inbound course is 071, the frequency is 1095. So let's go ahead and set that up. So 1095 is the frequency here. Oops. There we go, 1095 and 1095. There we go. And then the inbound course 071, so let's go ahead and set that. The nice thing about this one is it is very straight in. So no going around for the long way, it's a pretty quick straight in arrival into Ottawa. 071, and then because the FO is not flying on his side, I can just change his nav source. And alter his course in the corner there. And we're done that, okay. I'm going to pull open my flight plan here, and I'm going to go through it. Let's see, what's this guy navigating towards here? He's still going to Danip. He's still, oh, that's why he's still, we should be on our way to Myvok. His nav did not oh, it's better anyways. Alright. So I'm going to go through the waypoints here on my Navigraph on my tablet just because it's very hard to scroll through the screen with Navigraph up as well. So very quickly, where is my... Didn't set it up yet. Stand by, Ottawa, charts. Okay, got it up here. So we're on our way to, should be here on our way to Myvok. After that, we're going to hit Canuck out of below 230. We're already there, so that restriction does not really apply. And then we're going to go straight to Lanark for runway 07 straight in. It's at or below 10,000. You can see the restriction is there. Then Vizal at or above 3,000. And that's the approach right there. It's a very straightforward start today. The approach itself is the ILS to runway 07 in Ottawa. And this is... page 11-1 and effective on the 25th of April 2019. 1095 is set both sides. 071, the inbound course has been set both sides. The glide slope at Amobi 1700 and the ILSDA for today of 573. So we'll go ahead and set that to 580. Perfect. And and the touchdown zone at 373, so let's set the landing field altitude too while we're at it. Around 300, 400. The MSA is 3,000 feet. The missed approach is climbed to 3,000 feet straight ahead, direct the Ottawa NDB and hold there at 3,000 feet. And that's it. It's a 3-degree glide slope. We got Pappies on the left, SSALR lighting system. I'm looking down because I'm looking at my chart in front of me here. 2600 RVR, a half mile required. We're going to land runway 07, and most likely we're going to roll it all the way down to Foxtrot and exit there. Then taxi back Foxtrot Bravo to the apron. Pretty straightforward day, I think. I don't have a gate assignment yet. We'll pick one out in a second. And that's about all I've got right now. So the only thing I haven't done, actually, I just realized also in the middle of the briefing, was the speeds. So let's just do a quick little landing weight check here. We're looking like we're landing at 58.8, 59-ish. I'll use the 59 numbers. It should be close enough to what we're doing here. And we are going to start down very soon. We will. As soon as I finish this, we're going to do a flap 15 landing. 23 and 13 are the speeds. $23.13 are the speeds, and then 26 and 50 for a go-around, which is still there from the previous flights, which does not seem to be changing too much. So that's basically it. We just need to plan a VNAV point here. So let's plan to the Lanark at or below 10,000. Let's say we want to cross it at 10,000. We got about 2 minutes. Perfect. So we would make a call to ATC requesting our descent. However, since there's no ATC online, down we go. Let's set 8,000 alt cell initially, and because we're 2 minutes from top of drop, we can arm the VNAV, and there it is. If it doesn't arm, it means that you don't have a VNAV path yet. The VNAV path only starts being calculated when you're 2 minutes away from your VNAV path in the Dash 8. If you're 3 minutes away, no path. You won't see this appear here on the side of the PFD, and you won't be able to arm the VNAV. Kicks in at 2 minutes, which you'll also get a warning message. Normally, if you're not haven't already gotten it, you'll get it at the 2 minute mark. All right, ready to start down very soon here. Still a pretty solid overcast day here. Not a whole lot of scenery to see. The clouds do look pretty nice though, and it does. One thing I did always love about Active Sky is the way it transitions from one cloud layer to another. It's not just like a sudden jolt. It's not like a sudden change. The clouds just suddenly flash to a different position on your screen, but rather as you move along, the clouds are in different positions. So there's a higher layer back there that disappears here, and then there's another thicker layer over here as well. So you transition in a somewhat realistic manner. I like it. I like it a lot. Active Sky does some really nice things with the clouds in this simulator. Before we start down, I'm going to go ahead and get the prop heat on, and then we're going to do the descent check because we're going to be starting down any second now. So descent check, fuel, we did check in the briefing, and the approach landing briefing is complete. The cabin altitude controls we did set, and the cabin PA, we'll just say that is complete. And our descent check is complete. We're ready to start down. Hopefully there's nobody else underneath us. I don't think there's too much happening in Ottawa today. People overtaking us. Lots of people out here on Unicom. We're not going to hear too much. One thing about the Unicom and the audio for VATSIM system is it's got a very, very limited range. One of the big concerns originally was that people were going to be goofing around on the frequency and causing all sorts of mischief and trouble for anyone trying to use it. So as a result, the range was severely limited. So anyone who is trying to be unprofessional and goof around with the system is going to find they're going to have a very limited impact. They might be able to mess up one airport, and that'll be about it. So it's a little bit unfortunate because I feel like we could, here comes the VNAV path, I feel like we could do a little bit longer range, but I understand why the range was so limited. They don't want people to mess it up too badly. And we'll see how it works, I think. I think one thing about audio for VATSIM 2 is it's a system in transition. It's not done by any means. There are lots of technical developments that they want to do. Now that the overall network has transitioned to the new system, everyone's using the new system. Now they can work on adding more bells and whistles to it over time. There's a lot of stuff that could be done at the server end without impacting the clients at all. So I think that's what you're going to see in the future, is you're going to see more just slow but steady improvements. It was necessary to get to a totally new platform to allow that to happen. We're on that new platform now. Everyone's using the new audio for VATSIM platform. Now they can start, once the platform stabilizes, there still are some glitches with it. Day one, things definitely didn't quite happen ideally. I think everyone's pretty patient with it. You know, we know that it's a new system, so I don't think anyone got too upset when they got accidentally disconnected or when they had frequency change problems. Everyone just worked with it and ran with it. But once all these sort of initial opening day glitches are all worked out, the team, I'm sure, is going to switch to a more implementing more features over the long run. The nice thing is that they can take their time with it. They don't have to rush out any one particular feature. They've put out most of the fires related to the initial startup, and the other features can be added slowly over time. So that's going to be great to see some of them happen. HF radio, it is there right now, for example, but because no aircraft developer supports a separately tuning HF radio, like pretty sure we don't have one here in the Dash 8, but if you were to have an HF radio head here, most of the developers have just made them dummy heads that don't do anything because they had no purpose. Even in the online networks, nobody could use them, so we still are using VHF frequencies to pretend to tune in HF frequencies, but VATSIM has now created an API where aircraft developers can directly link an HF radio head to an HF radio frequency, and so people could actually dial in the correct HF frequency and talk to the correct person if it's implemented. So it's going to take some time, but it's been opened up to any developer that's interested. PMDG, I think everyone's looking in your direction because you run those long-haul airliners that would get a lot of use out of it. Again, nobody's expecting anything to happen instantaneously. I really should transition here. So transition set 2968. Of course, as I set this, you're going to notice that we're now off the VNAV path. It's going to pitch to adjust to it. But there's lots of room for improvements if they want to improve the distance calculations, if they want to change the Unicom frequency range. All these things can be tweaked at the server end with no real impact to the end users for the most part. So even more realistic HF frequency reception, support for 8.33 kilohertz spacing. No developer supports it, but the new audio for VATSIM system does have the built-in basis for it. It's just a matter of none of these aircraft have a radio that can tune the 833 kilohertz spacing. But that is something that can be done in the future. So there's lots of things that can happen in the future with this system. I think CPDLC controller pilot data link communications will also start to become built into the system as well. Again, it'll happen with those oceanic sectors a lot. That was a little bit too far on the trim. But these are all things. The technological capabilities are there. The background is there, the base is there, and the development team can build on it now that everyone's moved over and adapted to the new system. So this is not the end of the transition. This is just the beginning of a whole slew of new features that you're going to see on audio for VATSIM. So I'm super excited. I love the quality. As a pilot, I love the quality. I love the fact that the lag is gone. That, more than anything, is great. And as a controller, I think I'm going to love that even more, the fact that the lag is gone. So if you're a VATSIM member, get back online, practice it, try it out, get yourself set up, and get ready for Cross the Pond this year, because Cross the Pond is going to be epic like it's never been before as everyone tries out this new system. The slots were booked in minutes, just mere minutes. All the slots are booked for Cross the Pond this year, and probably dozens, if not hundreds of people have expressed their disappointment that they didn't get a slot. So there's going to be a lot of non-slot traffic. Okay, we do have the props and the windshield heat on as we go into this cloud deck because the temperature in there is -5. I should make broadcasts on Ottawa Unicom as we approach, but knowing that there's only a 15-mile range limit, it's kind of, I hate to say not worth it, but it is a little bit not worth it right now. Once we get to about 30 miles away, we should be, what are we on? We're on the 20-mile, 40-mile scale. So yeah, so once Ottawa scrolls into view at about a quarter of the way down our screen, we'll be able to make a Unicom call. The power back, a little bit too far back. Wish I had gates on my throttle quadrant to prevent that from happening. Just got to get that speed below 250. Not a very exciting day, scenery-wise. There we go, and we'll say 10,000, so let's get the lights on. And the seatbelt sign on. And as long as the speed is steady. Yeah, looking pretty steady. We'll call for the approach checklist. So approach altimeters, again, we got 2, 9, 6, 8, 1, 2, and 3 set. And nav aids, it might be a good day to actually identify them because it's kind of IMC out there. So let's get the volume up on the number 1 and see if we can hear it here. Okay, that's correctly identified number 1, and let's get number 2 up there. Alright, that's correctly identified 1 and 2, perfect, so the nav aids are identified. Love it. Alright, just in case we don't break out, it's supposed to be nice out there, but fuel, oh, I didn't do the flow actually, I'm supposed to turn on this, and make sure that is set. Alright, fuel transfer is off, tank occupants are on, GPW landing flap 15 is selected, hide quantities are checked. Caution and warning lights, nothing. Seatbelts are on, lights are on, and cabin secure will complete the approach checklist. So cabin secure is all we need left to complete the approach checklist. There's runway 07. And that's 9 descending 8. Let's go ahead and continue our descent to 4,000 here. There's 4,000. We'll get the power back up, so we keep about 230 knots, 240 knots down final until we get there. Oh, there we are. Breaking out of the cloud deck now. Back in a little bit here, but we'll get out of it again here soon. And right over there at VATSIM is where we're going to intercept the ILS. So we'll. There we are. We're within about 30 miles. Anyone on the ground should be able to get us now. Give it just another mile or so. Make sure we're fully within that zone. Ottawa traffic, Encore 3462 is about 30 miles west, descending through 8,000, planning an ILS to runway 07. So nice to do that. So much better than reaching over and typing all sorts of text on while I'm trying to fly down final. Especially flying an aircraft without an autopilot. If you're flying a, you know, a 172 or a Cherokee or anything small without an autopilot on, the ability to be able to make those calls without having to reach over and type while you're trying to fly. What a difference that's going to be. Alright, maybe one more cloud and we'll break out of this and we'll be... I think that's Carlton Place right down there. Looking pretty good, about 20 miles to touchdown. Should be able to pick out the Ottawa airport soon here. And actually one thing I did not do, and I'm just going to do it right now here, is I'm going to pick out a gate for arrival. And I'm just going to go to FlightAware and ask it which gate this flight normally uses. So quick little query of FlightAware, and today it was cancelled. Okay, how about yesterday? Gate 24. So let's do that. Let's set up gate 24. We should be able to set that up now, I think. There it is, Ottawa. Gate, and hopefully we should be able to set up 24. There it is, 24. Perfect. Handling my Swissport, good enough for me. Still haven't seen the airport yet, but we're getting there. We're in the right general area anyways. Now one thing I can do for a little bit of situational awareness is switch the FO over to the ILS, and here looking very nice. We're a little bit below the glide slope, and we're just a little bit to the right. As we approach VATSIM, we'll get on course. We'll switch to the ILS itself. We got about 10 miles, less than 10 miles to go to VATSIM, so about 2 or 3 miles from VATSIM, we'll switch to heading mode, switch to ILS, and intercept. And that's 5 descending 4. Well, let's go ahead and set 3,000. It's going to be okay for the ILS intercept 3,000, and via VATSIM we'll say we're cleared the ILS 07. Oh, thanks, that's the best. Anytime now, we're actually going to break out of the last of these cloud decks here. Actually, not bad though. When you get down low, like the Orbex scenery does look really quite good. Like it does look from here fairly random. Don't look too closely at it sometimes, but certainly you get a general sense of flying anyways out of it. Of course, then we fly into the photo texture we have down here. All right, that's 4 descending 3. I'm going to go ahead and switch us into heading mode on the present heading. I'm going to select my nav source to ILS1, and I'm going to arm. There's LOC. It's already captured the LOC. And I'm just going to continue the VS down. I might just back off even just a little bit and just let the glide slope catch us. We will need to start slowing down though. Need to get below 200 knots. We can start deploying the flaps and everything, and we're good. We are almost there. I got some wiring issues down here. My headset cable keeps dragging on something. There's Alt Star. Lose a little bit of speed here, so we'll just keep the speed up a little bit. A little bit hazy down here. It says it was raining, but I don't see any rain right now, which is fine. Glide slope and the go-around altitude of 3,000 feet is set. We're locked in. Perfect. And we're less than 10 miles final, so let's go ahead and say hide pumps on. We'll do flap 5. And the FAA notification, cabin crew, please be seated for landing. There's the runway. Start to get the runway in the airport in sight now. I wonder if this is what the Microsoft Flight Simulator is going to look like in 2020, where everything is always photorealistic all the time, except with realistic 3D pseudo autogen that's generated by the Bing Maps. Anyways, we'll talk about Microsoft Flight Simulator another time, because I think that's going to be... I don't want to get too hyped up about it. It has a lot of potential. It has a lot of chance to also be ruined. I won't say it's 100% a good deal, but... Alright, let's go ahead and go gear down. Nope. That's the gear switch. Pressed the wrong switch. I accidentally pressed my flap switch. That was my gear horn when the flaps were at a higher than 5 without the gear down. There we go. Alright, down 3 green. Let's go flap 15. Oh, can't go flap 15 yet. We've got to be below 172. There it is, flap 15. And we'll go, for some reason that's off. I don't know why that's off. Reduced NP. Condition levers max. And the landing checklist. Alright, so the landing checklist says, stand by hide press P2 controller on, landing gears down 3 green, flap is 15 set and indicated, condition levers are max, ice protection, we're just going to leave the windshield heat on for visibility, bleed air 1 and 2 is going to min and on for a go around, and the FAA notification VA landing check's complete. We passed a Mobi at 1700, we've got 1000, and I'd say we got the field visual, so we're doing good. I think this is one where the ILS is not quite aligned properly though. I remember having this issue before where the ILS-07 in Ottawa was not correctly aligned with the scenery. It was off by just like 1 or 2 degrees. And I can see it's kind of bringing us in just beside the runway here, so... we got a little bit of a crosswind from the right. Let's just disengage the autopilot. Press the button again there. Let it blow us on final. There we go, that's a little better. And now we're loosening the glide slope here.
500.
And I'm just going to put this up here because it's easier to see a big screen when you're trying to fly. Wow, that crosswind really pushed us off there, much more than I kind of anticipated there. Okay, we're going to say we're stable at 500. We just got to get back to the center line here. This is horrible flying, by the way. There we go. Alright, that's a little better. And we're still on glide slope pretty much. Come on, we can do this. Plunk this on the center of a runway for crying out loud.
100.
Flying the sim sometimes can be really challenging.
50, 30, 20,
Oop.
10.
Wow. That was a nice touchdown. I do say so myself. Alright, we're going to try to take that first left turn here on Foxtrot if I can. I might use the brakes a little bit to help. Well, I need the tiller. I keep forgetting that this aircraft has a tiller. There we go. I almost didn't make Foxtrot there. That was a little bit, wow, the touchdown was so soft, I almost floated back up in the air. Did you see the spoilers deploy and then retract again as the weight went off the wheels the second time? They're soft, and then there's probably almost too soft, and that was probably almost too soft. Alright, anyways. Here we are in Ottawa, taxi down Foxtrot, and a left turn on Bravo. Ottawa traffic, Encore 3462 is down and clear off runway 07 and taxiing Foxtrot Bravo to the apron. I forgot to make a Unicom call on final. I was kind of looking out the window a little bit too much. Alright. Go ahead with an after landing flow, so we'll do that and that. Okay. And we'll kill the lights, put the taxi light on, which I did because I never was cleared to land. Get the strobe off so we don't blind anybody. Come on. Alright. I'm honestly just doing this from memory, and it's not very good right now. Sometimes I really... Oh. The human brain is not infallible, that's for sure. After a while, you start to forget things. Okay, let's do the after landing checklist, make sure I didn't miss anything. If I can find it here. After landing checklist, radar is, let's go ahead and go off. Transponder staying on, alt, stay on the center line. Flaps are 0, control locks on, tank cox pumps are off, yaw dampers off, light taxis taxi, anti-collision is red, all other lights are as required, ice protection is all off, main bus tie is tied, and the APU is off. The after landing checklist is complete, and here we are in Ottawa. Going to gate 24. It should be just around the other side of the terminal there. We'll look for our marshalers. And that's it. We have done another flight in the life of a pilot. That took way longer than I anticipated. This has been an hour and a half already. I could probably finish the leg back, but it's going to be tight. I'll be honest that I have some other things that I have to try and get done today, and thought I would have enough time to finish the turn, but honestly, sometimes it just takes a lot longer than you anticipate to get these things done. So I think we're not going to do the turn today. I think we're going to pull the plug here in Ottawa and finish the turn on my next episode, whenever that is. Maybe I'll get around to it tomorrow morning, since I'm not getting around to it today. But alright, I see some stairs over there, which indicate probably where the marshaler is going to be for us there. For anybody wondering, this is the VATSIM Studios rendition of Ottawa International, and it's overall it's a very decent looking scenery. It's not Fly Tampa by any means or anything like that, but it's decent scenery. The biggest problem I have with it, and I hate to be a complainer, but the jetways don't work. And I'm not a scenery designer, so I don't know how much of an ordeal it is to get these things working. But I won't say it's a non-starter for me, but as silly as it is, it's a really useful animation. And so the fact that the jetways don't work here, like, the scenery does look pretty good overall. You get a very good impression of Ottawa overall. So then to have something like the jetways not move is a little disappointing. And I contacted the developer a while ago about that, and they said, oh yeah, they were thinking about getting an updated version launched with working jetways and everything. And I said, oh great. And that was probably 2 years ago, maybe more. I think that was about the time I did my first flight to Ottawa on this channel, which was, again, that was probably almost 2 years ago now. It's a very long time ago. And it's, and I hate to say it, I hate to be critical, but nothing's been done. I haven't heard a word about it. And I'm just a little disappointed. You know, I mean, I understand it. The developers are working on other things too. They were working on, I think, Calgary and some other things. I think they did Cancun as well. So, you know, it's not like they have one airport that they're looking after. There's more than one. All right, and that's the parking brake set. The height bumps to norm, and the bleed's off. And then I can go ahead and go start feather. Come on, start feather. There it goes. Alright, and start the timer. And the first thing we're going to do is request that GPU get hooked up while we finish the rest of the checklist. Come on. Close. Alright, so then we got to do... That goes off. Alright, and seatbelts can go off. Shut down checklist. Why do I always have the wrong side of the sheet? Taxi light is off, and the transponder is going to... stand by. Emergency brake is on. Standby high press P2 control are norm. Power levers are disc. Condition levers are start feather. Nose steering is off. Seat belts are off. Bleed air 1 and 2 is minute off. And we should probably have ground power now. And it looks like we do. Yep. Alright. External power is on. Condition levers 30 seconds. That's been about 50. So go ahead and fuel off. Lights as required. Standby oxygen main batteries. We run the GPU so they can go off, off, off. Come on. And battery master off. And the parking brake's going to stay on. The shutdown checklist is complete. And unfortunately that bridge is not going to come over here, so we're just going to have to do this the old-fashioned way. Oops, that's not what I meant to do. I meant to do this. There we go. Open the door and everyone's going to have to get out the old-fashioned way. Alright, that's all associated with the shutdown. Get rid of you, and we can request a boarding, because that's it. We are here. Welcome to Ottawa, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you've enjoyed your flight today. And like I said, it's an overall nice scenery. It's a pity that the jet bridges don't move, because that's one of the few... Otherwise, I'd be very happy with the scenery. You know, if I was to give it a rating, I'd say it's probably like it's about a 3-star scenery, but if they were to get those jetways to move, that'd easily give them another half a star to a star. As silly, as simple as that is, it's important. You know, in trying to maintain the overall immersion, I guess, is the best word. Anyways, thank you guys for watching. Let's go ahead and check out what happened here. And flight, so flight progress. And flight, let's see what happens to my pilot's life here. I'm just going to remove that. Alright, and so we got a new, really, 179 feet per minute, because that touchdown felt soft. But anyways. Alright, so Toronto to Ottawa, we've completed it. It's in the logbook here, 179 feet per minute, but I got 2.4 experience points for it. And the next leg is going to be Ottawa back to Toronto, but we're not going to do it just yet. Just going to open that second door so the ramp guys can start, there it is, unloading the bags as well. And that's it. And go back to my dashboard and I can just see my total status here. So I'm starting to eke up there. 6 experience points. I need 50 just to make from junior first officer to first officer. I got 3.68 hours. Number of flights 3. And I can even see my past flights map. Not that it's going to be terribly exciting right now. I've gone here and here. One thing I think that could be improved too is maybe make this line a little thicker, because these gray lines are hard to spot on the gray map. Maybe make them red at least to match the little airport flags there. But anyways, that's it, guys. I think I'm going to call it a day there. I was going to do the leg back, but it's gotten already too long. So I've got some things to do later. But thank you guys very much for watching. I hope you enjoy this. I hope you give Simbit World of Pilot's Life a try. I think it's a neat piece of software. The schedule generation that you have to follow, to me, is one of the neat things. It's really one of the simple yet neat ideas behind it. So yeah, I hope you guys give that a try. And I hope to see you again online soon. Check out the channel for those of you that like the systems videos for this Dash 8, this beautiful aircraft here. There are more coming. I always say it, and I do mean it. I recently finished audio recording for the next ones, for the next system, so it's a work in progress. It's definitely not close to being done yet, but it's definitely started. And I won't tell you what it is yet, but I'll give you the hint that it is a system that just flows to all the corners of the aircraft. So that's it. Thank you guys for watching. Appreciate the support, and subscribe to the Twitch channel, subscribe to the YouTube channel to see more videos when they come out, and we will see you guys all very soon.